to our latest Elite FPL podcast. I'm joined by Steve-O and Jason. Guys, how are we tonight?
Good
hello,
evening,
everybody.
If anybody's watching, hello. I will say hello to Dominic O'Donnell, who said he's joining us live from Singapore. So, hello there.
Wow, yeah. Obviously, we're over in England. My mum was born in Singapore, actually, so I've always got a fondness for that country. But yeah, we're obviously going to be recapping on game week 11, looking forward to game week 12, and also looking at the teams in our mini league as well. We have a 50-strong mini league, so we're going to be looking at the top four in that league, looking at our own teams, looking at what went right and what went wrong in game week 11, and looking ahead to game week 12. And if you've joined us tonight, please do get involved, chat, comment, tell us about your teams, tell us about what you're thinking to do for game week 12, and ask us any questions you like. And we really look forward to hearing from you and looking ahead to game week 12. So, Steve-O, you're going to be taking us through the teams that are the top four in the league.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to know why we only focus on the top four, it's quite simple, really. In our cash league, that's the cash money. So the top four is where all the money goes, really. And Jason, he's number one at the moment. He's just dominating our league. What are you at the moment? 620th or 520th in the world, Jason, at the moment?
Currently 556th.
556th in the world. So there we are. If you want any tips, just speak to Jason. But in all seriousness, Jason is just dominating our league. He's 45 points clear of second place. You got 71 points this week, Jason. And you captain Aguero, Alonso in there with the points, with Charlson, your differential with Silva, of course, and Wilson. So if we have a look at your team, if you get the older team up, hopefully it will pop up in a second.
Yeah, I think it should work. Yeah, it should work. So
there we are. So we look at your team, Jason. If you want to talk about your week, I mean, we did a so if people aren't aware, we do a live reactatory podcast, usually at the end of Saturday fixtures. This week it was Sunday. We got Dan was able to join us this weekend, and we pretty much covered most of Jason's team because all his players played, apart from one player, which was Mitrovic. Do you want to talk about his 1 point?
Don't mention Mitrovic, buddy.
Yeah, Mitrovic is one of those players where, like, at the beginning of the season, he was touted as being, like, by many on FPL that he could be, 20 plus goals, in an attacking Fulham team, and it just seemed to just fade away. Like, that's few game weeks, he's been too busy looking behind him and looking at the real bad service. He's had really bad service. I was watching the game Monday night thinking he's making runs into the box, he's waiting for crosses there, and then Fulham were playing it sideways. It was like, literally, you're playing a target man like Mitrovic and you're passing it sideways, trying to do tiki-taka, which they can't do, and doesn't work.
It made me laugh because I just woke up. I go to sleep at the most ridiculous time of the evening, and I just woke up and I was like, I better check the older Fulham Huddersfield result, and it just summed up both teams when it was a Fulham own goal. Just said it all.
Yeah.
Mitrovic scoring a yellow card. Getting a yellow card. It just said always. Yeah, Jason is just, well, he's one of the best in the world at the moment as it stands. So if we move on to Ben Towler's team, he's second in our league. He's 8 points clear of third. So you can see the gap has completely shortened down now. He took an 8-point hit, and like I said, we covered most of our teams. We're going to keep this short in our reactatory video, which you can see on our YouTube channel at Elite FPL. But Ben captain Kane there. He also got points from Alonso. It's the same theme, really. Richarlison getting the points in there. Arnautovic getting some points as well. And, of course, Wilson with his standard goal. On to third place. And this is the team that is doing really well in our league, but just can't seem to catch Jason at the moment. It is Terry Roos. He got 68 points. He captained Salah, though. And, yeah, it made complete sense in some ways to captain Salah, because history was suggesting that he would get some form of returns. But as we did in our live reactatory podcast, it was just a 1-1 result. I didn't see a draw at all coming in that. But again, Alonso in the points for Charleston, Arnautovic, Wilson, and yeah, it's going really well for Terry at the moment. He's 14 points clear of fourth. And then into fourth spot, the final cash place. It's Connor Lee. He got a very, very good total of 81 points, 19 points clear of fifth. Captain Aguero, Alonso, Richarlison. But his differential that I got rid of, Lucas Moura, he got him the points this week, and Arnautovic as well. So on to me. God, really, really happy with this game week. I got 80 points, although I took an 8-point hit. So 72 points total. But I came out being sixth. And we'll go into the reasons why in a second. I'm 19 points off fourth spot. And I got some respectable returns now. I'm pretty happy with my team at the moment. But yeah, the reason why I'm sixth is because, well, out of the blue, a team managed by Darren Monday, I think he got a whopping 95 points this week because he captained Sterling. He completely came out of nowhere. Just didn't see that at all, because I just wouldn't be looking that far down the table when doing our live reactatory podcast. And yeah, captaining Sterling, they didn't have Aguero, made complete sense. 42-point total. And yeah, just completely caught me. However, we're both on the same points, so I'm not too worried about possibly Darren overtaking me per se. But so on to your team, Dan. You're down in 11th place. You got a very good score of 74 points. You took a hit, a 4-point hit. Schmeichel, an actual player in goal, got you some points. So Casper Schmeichel there. Richarlison, Aguero, captain Arnautovic. And any thoughts? I mean, like I said, we kind of went in depth on our reactatory podcast on Sunday evening. But any more further thoughts on your team, Dan?
Yeah, generally pretty happy. Really happy that I kept faith with Richarlison. Really rewarded with 15 point haul there. So that was very pleasing. Obviously, putting the faith in Schmeichel because the previous 2 game weeks have doubled up on Wolves' defensive assets, Patricio and Doherty. This time I thought I'll give Schmeichel a go. So obviously got 8 points there, so pleased with that. Still really kind of annoyed with Mendy and Laporte. Just that Man City just letting that 1 goal in. I mean, Southampton, they hadn't scored for, was it 5 or 6 games before that match? And away to Man City at the Etihad. And I was just going home on Sunday and I was like, oh, Man City have scored 6. And I've got Aguero as captain. Oh, brilliant. And I've got Laporte and Mendy in. And then I looked, oh, yeah, Danny Ings got a penalty in the 30th minute. That's when FPL can break your heart a bit, really. But generally speaking, I got my captain right. Richarlison did well. Arnautovic obviously brought him in the previous week. He was injured in that. He was sick in that previous week. But sorry to mention, obviously he got a goal against Burnley, and he's looking good again. So I'm pleased to have him in my team. So yeah, generally pretty happy, but need to do a bit of a Darren Monday to get up that league. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, very good. Jason
I just want to say we've got some chatters in the chat. We've got our man Dylan back, 12:10 a.m. where he is, and he's on 691 points with the Mitrovic disaster. That's not bad going.
It's good.
So we've got Dalvin Vass in chats asking, after game week 12, which one should I do? Success, Salah, Maddison to either Mane, Ali. I wouldn't go for Ali myself. Jimenez or Sterling, Martial. Right. So yeah, we kind of said that we're going to try and not tell you what transfers to do, but give you kind of options and that you can go away and research, because everybody's got obviously their own sort of opinions on things and interprets things differently. But I certainly, looking at the names on there, Mane and Sterling would be right up there with top candidates to bring in.
Definitely with that that game coming up against. Sorry to keep bashing Fulham. I've got nothing against Fulham. Always had a soft spot for Fulham, but yeah, with that fixture coming up against Fulham on the weekend, getting Mane in, and obviously Sterling, the form that he's in. Yeah, Mane and Sterling, definitely.
Yeah, so you were going to ask me something, Steve. I mean, I just don't want to talk about my team because I'm actually.
You seem really aggravated.
I am. I think I've made a big mistake. In fact,
Well, I keep asking you this it seems like every single week, and I'm sure people are bored of me asking this, but I just find it fascinating. So, like you said, you're 556th in the world, which is just extraordinary. And in our own cash mini league, which we take very, very seriously, you're 67 points clear of fourth. But I'm not suggesting for 1 minute you're going to discuss it, but you were just about to allude to it, which is you have taken an 8-point hit. This is before all the European games have taken place. So I keep saying this. Are you concentrating, even though it has obviously direct effect on our mini league anyway, so there's no bearance, but are you taking the overall rank more seriously than you are taking our mini league seriously?
Yes, I am. I really want to stay in the top 1,000. My goal is to not drop past the 1,000 mark, and that's like really hard, like in itself. And I think that when I woke up in the early hours of Sunday morning, like I really honestly was half asleep, and I just felt compelled to make these transfers. I don't know if like a vision or something happened. Maybe I had a dream or something.
Getting spiritual.
But seriously, I can't really change it now. So I'm sitting here like thinking, I've literally done these transfers. Anything can happen. People can get injured. Players can be dropped, and the rotation as well. There's one that's got a big rotation question mark now. So I'm like, and there's one massive punt in my selections that I brought. I've not even brought in like your like solid bets. That's the thing. I've not done a -8 to bring in safe options. I think that's what's really causing me to kind of second guess what I've done, because it literally is going to be a case of, wow, you've did it. You've pulled a rabbit out of the hat, or oh my God, you've just hurtled down to 5,000 in the world.
So if anybody's in the chat.
Just sorry to interrupt. Why do you need to take this risk? Because you've been, obviously top pretty much all the season. And like Steve-O, I'm not going to say that word. Like Steve-O said in our previous podcasts, you're safe. Like, as long as you make the sort of sensible choices and avoid the maverick, you're pretty much, clear set at the top. So what's made you decide to take this big gamble when you're kind of already sitting pretty at the top and doing so well?
I can't even blame it. I can't even blame it on Mitrovic and his like 1 point, because I'd already made that transfer by then. I mean, that one of my players out was Mitrovic. So yeah, I'm just in two minds whether to actually let you guys know, because even if I tell you guys, I can't see any of you guys even transferring in the same players as me or going any. I don't know.
Well, you don't need to say, but if anybody's in the chat and is what do you think of Jason taking an 8-point hit? I personally, we went through all this the other day. I always total up like how our points hits have actually affected us, and in my case, my transfer history has been terrible. And if I have taken a points hit, it's backfired on me. When I don't take a points hit, it's backfired on me. Dan, it's been backfiring him all season. In your case, Jason, I don't think you've taken that. Have you actually taken any hits this season?
One, I took a 4-point hit and it paid off. But people in chat are talking. Dominic, OD, Madison to Kyle, and success to Arnautovic. Now, I personally don't. My opinion would be not to take a 4-point hit on taking Madison out with his run of fixtures to bring in Arnautovic in, even though he has got nice fixtures. You're probably better off saving your transfer if you haven't used it already for the international break, which is after this week. Take it from me. My advice, guys, I've taken an 8-point hit this week. Yeah, but yeah, generally, my advice would be to hold on to the transfer.
Well, I mean, all this kind of really links us into which is our favourite time of the week. I love this bit. It's our preview of the game week. We always do a bit of fun where, well, myself, Dan, and the history go up against each other. Now, the history is taking into account the last 6 fixtures that the 2 teams have played each other. It could be expanded over literally years. So, as it stands, the history is beating myself and Dan. I believe it's 6 game weeks to Dan's. 6 game weeks to 2 against Dan. Last week I won. I got 7 outcomes out of 10, which I was very proud of, really. I also do a bit of a little nice stat which concerns the particular fixtures, although ironically none of these stats seem to work other than if it's involving Brighton, bizarrely. So when it gets to the Brighton fixture, which funnily enough is the opening game week this week, you may want to take notice. Dan also does a dead cert bet each week, where each week he started at £5, put that money on a team he thought would be a guaranteed winner. In other words, he just puts it on either Man City or Liverpool. He did win last week with Man City winning, and I'm sure we can all guarantee which team he's going to be putting on this week. So we'll find out in a minute, but we'll just crack on. And any thoughts and opinions on these games, Jason will just chip in as well. So, like I said, we're kicking off with, well, the dreadful Cardiff versus the defensive delights of Brighton. And there's been 4 draws between these 2 teams over the last 6, 2 being 0-0, 2 being 1-1, and they've won a game apiece. So the history is going to go with a 1-1 draw. Me personally, I think Brighton are just going to edge this because I just think Cardiff are terrible. I think Cardiff will score, though, because Brighton's set up pretty defensive away from home, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory to Brighton. Dan, how do you see this game going?
Yeah, this is a massive game for Cardiff. Obviously, only 1 Premier League win all season. I've got this game in my mind for bringing in a Brighton asset, which, considering what we've been talking about previously, you may be able to guess who the player is fairly easily. But I've got the feeling for a draw for this game. Obviously, Cardiff lost the last game. Brighton lost away to Everton, which was always a difficult fixture. I'm going to side with the history a bit and go 1-1.
1-1. So on to the next fixture, which is another terrible team. I mean, they got a victory the other day, as fortunate as it was. It's Huddersfield versus West Ham. These 2 teams have only met twice, and both times West Ham have won. The last time they played each other was West Ham away at Huddersfield, like this fixture, and it ended 4-1 to West Ham. So the history is going to go with a 3-0 victory. I agree completely. I think I'll ask you in a minute, Jason. Well, I'll ask you now as I'm speaking, but I just think West Ham are terrible defensively, and I just think Huddersfield will score. I think West Ham will come out on top, though. I think they're going to win 3-1. But are you happy with your Fabianski transfer, Jace?
Yeah. He's playing in a West Ham team that aren't very solid at the back. I know that. At the very least, I can see him getting lots of save points if they don't keep a clean sheet. But yeah, the run of fixtures is quite favourable for him. I'm hoping, because it's a bit late now, I've already transferred him in. So I'm hoping that the fixtures and the potential for returns is the right decision, and it's a popular decision.
But Dan, what do you think on the scoreline then?
Yeah, I think you're a little bit harsh on Huddersfield. Good win for them against Fulham, and obviously saw them play against Liverpool a few weeks ago. Very, solid defensively, really, and they've got quite a lot of fighting spirit there. Having said all that, West Ham, although they're defensively a bit of a nightmare, Arnautovic, and Felipe Anderson's a very interesting one as well. Perhaps some people with Maddison who are frustrated about Maddison may be looking at Felipe Anderson. He's been a bit inconsistent this season, but he could be somebody that people may look to invest in their midfield. But I'm going to go for a draw again. I'm going to go for 1-1, and I'm hoping Arnautovic will get a goal. I think he got a goal there last season, or he did quite well there last season in that fixture. So fingers crossed.
Sorry, we've got a couple of people talking in chat, and apparently Vince Chapman says he's worked out that Pep's roulette wheel of fortune has been cracked. Sterling rotates every 7 games, Sane every 5. Now, I haven't looked at these figures, but he's saying that they're like clockwork.
All right, okay. Oh. The funny thing is, that talking of Man City assets, this is just not the week to be bringing them in. But that's just my personal opinion. But you were going to say, Jason?
No, it's fine, guys. I just wanted to the guys in chat we're talking about Fulham. They wanted to talk about how bad Fulham is. We all know how bad Fulham is. We watched that game. We watched that game.
I'm guessing we haven't got any Fulham fans watching. They got Schürrle, who's a good player. Mitrovic is a good player, but he's not getting the supply. Like Jason said, he watched the game and they're not getting the ball into Mitrovic. He's a target man. What can he do?
Yeah. So on to the next game. It's Leicester versus my team, Burnley. I mean, it was Maddison's last chance saloon for you, Dan, last week, I believe. This personally for me is actually his last game to prove himself. We're there for the taking. We're conceding on average 3 goals a game. It's disgusting, if I'm honest with you. And
yeah, it's bad.
I think they're going to do it again. I think Leicester are going to batter us. Despite all the circumstances and everything, they're going to have some fun. I don't know what the hell's going on with our team, but we just can't defend for the life of us. It's completely backfired, everything that we seem to do. So I think we'll score, though. I haven't actually said the statistic of this game. So in the 6 fixtures that we played each other, there's been 4 clean sheets involved, 3 of which have gone to Leicester. And 3 of the encounters have actually ended 1-0, twice in favour of Leicester, once for Burnley. The history is going to go with a 1-0 victory to Leicester. I think we'll score. I think we're just going to get. I think Vardy, Maddison, and Iheanacho are going to have a bit of fun here. I think it's going to be a comfortable 3-1 victory, if not 3-0. Dan, what do you think on this? You worried?
Yeah.
Get rid of Maddison.
I think I'm going to keep Maddison again because there's other areas of my team that need attention. The whole thing with my team is just the lack of, I've said about this before. I've got basically, they're not bench options, they're not budget options. They're just, enablers in the team, really, like Rico and Wan-Bissaka with the fixtures they've got at the moment. So, yeah, I'm going to give Maddison another roll of the dice. I think obviously it's going to be a difficult game for Leicester. We've said about this before. And Burnley, where has it gone wrong for Burnley this season, Steve? Just to quickly, from an outside point of view, just last season they were so strong defensively, and now it's just like they're just conceding goals left, right, and centre.
Stephen Ward not playing. I always had when we were in the Championship. Whenever Stephen Ward played for us, we never conceded and we always won. And then we got promoted. This is all tongue in cheek, by the way. But then we get promoted, and he played regularly for us. Sean Dyche decided to actually play him, and we again did really well defensively and everything. And then he got injured, and then surprise, surprise, we started losing. And then this season he got injured, and it's Charlie Taylor playing in his place. And I think also we've been found out as well. Dyche allows a lot of shots against us, whether it's out, usually from outside the box. I think teams have just genuinely just worked us out. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, it's unfortunate for me as a fan watching us concede left, right and centre. I find it disgusting. In fact, there was some statistic that went around where since 2016 up to April this year, we'd only conceded 3 times or more. I knew this. Not the direct statistic, but I knew we were pretty solid defensively anyway under Sean Dyche, which was we'd only conceded 3 or more goals 5 times in basically 2 years. This season, we've already conceded more than 3 times in about 6 games already. It's disgusting. So I think we've been worked out, and yeah, I just grateful that there are teams like Newcastle, Huddersfield, Cardiff, and Fulham in the division, because if it wasn't for them, we'd be bottom.
Yeah, just to say, Fulham did beat you, but sorry,
No.
I don't mean to stick the knife in, but just for the sake of balance, of course, for any Fulham fans watching, we've got nothing against Fulham. I'm going to say 2-1 to Leicester, and I'm hoping Maddison. I mean, Maddison nearly got an assist last week, but Sol Bamba handballed on the line and got away with it with Jamie Vardy's shot. So it's a little thin margins that can sometimes go against you. But yeah, 2-1 to Leicester.
Yeah, Maddison is passing the eye test. It's just he hasn't, unfortunately, returned fantasy points. That's as simple as it gets. So on to the next game, which is, Newcastle at home to Bournemouth, the informed Bournemouth. And now, despite the fact that Newcastle were absolutely shambolic at home, they did win against Watford last week. Bournemouth, of course, coming off a 2-1 defeat to Man United. And the little statistic going here is that Bournemouth have won twice away at Newcastle. And at home, bizarrely, Bournemouth have lost and drawn. So this seems to be the fixture certainly from a history point of view, where Bournemouth will probably win here. It's going to go with what I think, which is a 2-1 victory to Bournemouth. So I think 2-1, the history's going 2-1. Dan, what do you think on Newcastle versus Bournemouth?
Yeah, my home team, as you call them, Bournemouth, they played well against United last weekend, but I just knew United were going to get a late goal. I just knew it. And yeah, it's a bit annoying, but yeah, Callum Wilson, that's the one. I had him in earlier in the season, and he was doing okay, but he wasn't getting great returns. And then took him out, and ever since then he's been scoring for fun. So yeah, I got a feeling. I mean, last week Watford battered Newcastle. Pereira hitting the crossbar, saves, and everything going on. But it's a tough one to call. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to the Cherries. 2-1 to the Cherries. And Callum Wilson will score, probably.
I'll ask you, Jason, a full house here. Do you think it will be 2-1 to Bournemouth?
What, in the Newcastle game?
Yeah.
I think that game is going to be quite open game. I think Newcastle, again, they're not looking very attacking. I don't think Newcastle's going to score. I think it's going to be Bournemouth all of it. I'm going to go 3-0 to Bournemouth with my man Wilson getting an hat-trick.
Up the Cherries.
Well, I mean, at the moment, we'll go into our team plans later, but at the moment, I've got Brooks starting ahead of Richarlison.
He played really well last weekend. Really well. Yeah. Looks a good player.
So on to the next team, where the history statistics always favour Southampton, but based on this year, just take this with a pinch of salt. So it's Southampton versus Watford. Now, this fixture has contained 18 goals in the last 6. 3 Southampton victories, 2 draws, and a Watford win. It's going to go with a 2-1 victory to Southampton. I just can't see this. Southampton, obviously, as we know, last week, absolutely annihilated by Man City. We don't need to go over that. And Watford, I'd like to think, will they'll come back from their 1-0 defeat from Newcastle, and I'm going to go with another 2-0 victory to Watford.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Southampton fans a bit. I mean, it's just been years of selling their best players. I've always had some good returns from Cedric in the past. It's always had a fondness for some of the Southampton players, Charlie Austin as well. But yeah, I think they're going down the season, and I think Mark Hughes is going to be getting the sack pretty soon. So Watford's a bit unlucky against Newcastle. I'm going to go 2-0 Watford. And yeah, Pereira, my man Pereira there, I reckon he could do a bit of damage. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, Southampton at home. going off the back of that humiliating defeat against City, and they're going to want to bounce back in front of their home fans. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for Watford. I can see both teams scoring in this game, but I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Southampton.
Wow. You never
So
know.
on to the next fixture, the local derby of Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. Now, the last time I said this statistic, it did come true, which was Tottenham beat Cardiff 1-0 on 4 occasions. When in this fixture, in the last 6, there have been 5 1-0 victories, 4 of them in Tottenham's favour. So clearly a very low-scoring game here. So the history is going to go with 1-0 to Tottenham. Me personally, I think Tottenham, again, it's going to sweep aside Crystal Palace. I'm going to go 3-1 to Tottenham.
Yeah, it should be a pretty tasty game. London derby, as you said. I mean, Harry Kane getting back on the score sheet again. Maybe he'll be working his way back into people's teams and in people's thoughts. Once he gets going, he can go on a scoring run and rack up those points.
I did hear though, Dan, that last night, for example, I was reading an article on Football 365, and it's pretty much exactly what you just said. When he scores goals, he scores goals. He was apparently appalling last night, and he could have been substituted off, but he was kept on, and he got his 2. So,
yeah, it's football. We all know is obviously a lot about confidence. Getting those 2 goals, keeping Spurs Champions League hopes alive. That'll be good for his confidence as well. So 3 goals in 2 games. I reckon he could score on the weekend. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Spurs, but I hope not.
Are you thinking of investing in Harry Kane possibly if he scores, Jason, this weekend? Maybe getting a brace if he did?
No, my team isn't set up to accommodate him, and I don't like the look. I just don't like the look of Tottenham. And if you saw the game, which I did last night, you'd see that Harry Kane did get the winning goal, but was incredibly fortuitous to get for that goal to go in. It took 2 deflections. It was going at the goalkeeper, I believe. Hit one defender into another defender, and because Zoet was playing like man of the match that game. He was playing a really, really good game. But no, I'm not interested in Harry Kane. I've already been stung by him once. I think game week 5 it was, wasn't it? That dreaded game week 5.
Well, talking of interest, this is going to be the main interesting talking point this weekend, which is Liverpool versus Fulham. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff. I can't imagine Fulham fans. They'll have to be waking up at 4, 5 o'clock, maybe even 3 o'clock in the morning to get up there. But it's a 12 o'clock kickoff in the morning. I don't know where that's come from. But there's been Liverpool have scored 14 goals versus Fulham, with Fulham only scoring 5, and there's been 2 4-0 victories to Liverpool. So the history is going to go 4-0. I think if anybody's got Salah, people like myself or whatever, you're going to captain him. It's an automated choice. However, maybe a differential captain choice in Mane, possibly. I certainly think that in Dan's case, if you've got the Mane Salah double up, you're in for a bit of a treat. I'm a bit dubious now. I'm unfortunate that I can't watch any of the football. Maybe you guys can help me out here, but I'm a bit concerned about Alexander-Arnold's possibility of not playing against Fulham because he was substituted. Was there any reasoning why he was substituted? Was it just that bad? Obviously, Liverpool lost 2-0, and
it seemed as if it was performance related because there was no mention of any injury, or they call it a tactical substitution, but no tactics changed. But I think I'm not going to say anything about Liverpool at the moment.
Showing the United bias there. I mean, but to lose to Red Star Belgrade, that was a shocking defeat last night. I don't know how. I would assume that the players will come out on Sunday and they would just be going for it. Klopp will be laying down the law to them and saying, look, this performance was not good enough. And, well, in his own eccentric way that he does, I'm happy that I've got Mane and Salah. It is tempting to captain Mane as a differential, but calculated risk. I think most people that have got Salah will be captaining him, and if I don't do that, then I could fall further down the league. So I'm going to be too stupid. But I'm glad that I've got Mane and Salah. This was a fixture that obviously I got them in 2 weeks ago. Cardiff game, blanked against Arsenal, now in for Fulham. So I'm hoping for some really good returns, double digit from both players. Because when Salah seems to play well, Mane seems to play well as well, and they'll be on the warpath after that result last night. So I'm going to go 4-0 to Liverpool. Sorry, Fulham.
So again, the three of us are going. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I'm going 4-0 as well. Jason?
Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. Fulham are literally non-existent at the back, it seems. Mistakes, not picking up runners, not picking up players on corners, set pieces. I mean, it literally is. If Liverpool turn out with the right mentality in that game, it's going to be an absolute slaughter. The game midweek, I just don't know what was up with Liverpool. They seem to have. Klopp said they've lost their mojo. I just think it can't be tiredness. Not this stage into the season. It's something isn't clicking. But I think against Fulham, I don't know. My local pub team could probably beat them at the moment.
Do you think that someone brought this up on Fantasy Football Scout, and do you know what? I'm kind of agreeing with it. Is this a game to potentially triple captain Salah?
Don't tempt me. Don't. I've been thinking. I've got these bloody chips, still in my hand, and to get back up into that like top 6, top 8, which is optimistic at the moment. You've put the idea in my head now. I'm going to be thinking about that for the next few days. So, yes, maybe.
I mean, Dan, you're looking here. You're 60 points off fourth. I mean, it would take something like a maverick move, like triple, not necessarily maverick, but a ballsy move to let's be honest here, triple captaining Salah. He could do what he did against Watford last year and score 4 goals. And I can actually genuinely can envisage it.
Yeah, with the chips last season, I was always thinking about double game weeks and everything like that, and trying to be really tactical with them. But like you said, it was the Liverpool game against Watford where the use of the triple captain would have accelerated you up the league. So it's that whole. I always reference this Dimitar Berbatov against Blackburn when he scored 5 goals, and Darren Cully, who's not taking part in the league this season, captained him and just got to the top of the league, and that was it. Rest of the season. So, like you say, those maverick moves can pay off. But I'm just in the back of my head thinking, what about if it's a double game week, and what about if it's like Man City at home to 2 easy teams or whatever? Not there's any easy games in the Premier League, but 2 favourable fixtures. So, but you've got this idea in my head now. I'm going to be thinking about this. So.
Well, talking of favourable fixtures, Chelsea love to play this team, which is Everton. There have been 5 clean sheets involved in this game, 4 of which in Chelsea's favour. Chelsea have scored 12 goals in the 6 fixtures versus Everton. They like to score, so the history is going to go with a 4-0 victory. I think exactly the same. I think that Chelsea are going to have a bit of fun here. I'm hoping that Hazard will start, and at the moment he's my vice captain, and if I hear any news on possibly Salah being dropped, unlikely, Hazard I think could be a very, very good captaincy choice. If not, I mean, it's very unlikely if anybody actually owns him, but maybe Morata. He's got a bit of confidence now, scored 4 goals in 3. I'm going 3-1 to Chelsea here. Dan, what do you think on possibly a differential captain in this game?
Yeah, I mean, when we did our first ever podcast, season preview for last season, I was bigging up Morata. I was saying he's better than Lukaku. He's played for Juventus. He's played for Madrid, scored goals in Champions League finals, which is all true. Had a good record, and it's not really worked out for him so far, but a little bit of form. But I just think there's just other better options out there, like say Callum Wilson. Obviously, Jason's done quite well with him. Aguero's consistently getting goals each week. So it's a bit of a gamble, but yeah, I think for this game, like you said, Chelsea got a good record against Everton. Everton playing some good football. With Carlson hoping that he can hopefully do something in this game, but I'm going to copy you and say 3-1 to Chelsea.
Yeah, Jason, I mean, at the moment, Richarlison is on my bench. I just don't think he's going to do anything against Chelsea. I mean, again, I could be proven wrong. What do you think on Richarlison's opportunities versus Chelsea? What about these people that have brought in Ross Barkley? They obviously failed with their transfer last week. Any thoughts on this game at all? Differential choices, captaincy in here?
I mean, Hazard is undeniably a top pick for captaincy most weeks. He's my favourite player, attacking player, to watch. He's, up against Everton, who have been leaking goals. I would say Richarlison's got a good chance of scoring in any game. I mean, he's got the quality, he's got the movement, the ball control, the finishing, and he's been kind of molded by Silva into this kind of striker position, which at the beginning of the season we never thought was going to happen, but it has. Lots of people have said that that's going against his favourability in FPL wise, but I don't know. I think that he, at his price, he's an absolute bargain, and I'm not saying essential because I don't think many players are, but I certainly think that he's a strong candidate for majority of FPL teams, and I think he could easily pinch a goal. Not ideal because I own Alonso, but so does everyone else. So yeah.
Well, talking of possibility of a major differential captain choice, it's Dan's team Arsenal. They're up against Wolves. So Arsenal have kept in their last 6 fixtures versus Wolves 4 clean sheets. They've scored 12 goals without reply by Wolves. So it looks like Arsenal could have a bit of fun here again. Just Wolves' defensive solidity has just seemed to have come crashing down. And I'm going to go with the history's going with a 2-0 victory here. I'm going to add one here. I'm going to go with 3-0. And I think for me personally, this is stupid even me saying this out loud, but I think this could be the time when I'm thinking, right, if Aubameyang or Lacazette score a brace, and Aguero does nothing, I think it may be the time to pull the trigger on getting rid of Aguero and bringing in either Lacazette or Aubameyang. I need to do a lot of research into it, but yeah, I'm going 3-0. Dan, how do you think your boys are going to get on?
Don't think it's going to be that easy, actually. We've got a game against Sporting Lisbon tomorrow evening in the Europa League. And, I mean, Wolves only just... I know they went 3-0 down, but they came back a bit. And they had a goal disallowed for offside in that game that shouldn't have been disallowed in the first half, towards the end of the first half. So they've looked good in some of the big games this season. Like away to Man United, they drew. At home to Man City, they drew. I think it's going to be a draw, actually.
That was during their kind of peak time. Now they've lost 3 on the bounce. Confidence clearly low. I mean, I'm surprised you're so pessimistic for this game.
I'm always pessimistic about my own team. I think everyone's always pessimistic about their own team because they've just got all these thoughts. I mean, it was a really good performance against Liverpool, but no, I'll go for a 2-1 win, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think they still play some good football, and that they've had a few. They played well against Brighton. Brighton had only 1 shot on goal and scored, I think it was. So yeah, I think 2-1 to Arsenal, I hope, but it's going to be a tough game.
Curse of November.
Yeah, it is a curse of November.
Hello, Dominic. Hello, Dejan. I don't know how to say your name, but Dejan Seco or Checo. Is it Checo? Welcome to the stream. And Steve-O, remember Arsenal are shit in November. We're not a PG stream, so we can that was Vince anyway, letting you know about that. But yeah, going on.
They got their draw versus Liverpool. I thought the Liverpool were going to annihilate them, and they got a draw versus them. I think confidence will be high. They're doing really well in the Europa League, as Dan will attest to. The structure seems to be finally getting somewhere. They're only a few points off top spot. I don't know the exact. How many points are you off top? 3, 4, 5?
I think it's 5. I could be wrong. Maybe someone in the chat can correct me on that one. No, we're doing well, but it's just a fan of me that thinks that it will be a tough game. Like, we slipped up against Palace, and we played really well. The game against Liverpool was a big game, and all the players on the fans were really up for it. I think, I don't know. I'm just Wolves on the counter attack. Not Diego Costa, and all the other players they've got. Jimenez, Jason's mate Jimenez, maybe could cause a bit of trouble. So could potentially be a draw. I don't know, but we'll see.
I'm going to go 0-0 that game.
0-0.
0-0. Yeah.
It won't be 0-0.
Talking of the big game of the weekend is, of course, Man City versus United. Interestingly, Man U have kept 3 clean sheets versus City. They've only lost twice versus City, both of them being 2-1 victories. So history is going to go with a 2-1 victory to United. I personally think that, I really do think that City are just going to punish United for what Bournemouth didn't do against last week. And I'm going to go with a 3, could be 3-0, but I'm going to go with a 3-1 comfortable. I think it's going to be a comfortable victory. Yeah, 3-1 to United. City.
Yeah, I mean, United are playing, obviously Jason will attest to, they're playing Juventus tonight away in Turin. That's going to be a massive game. So the result of that game will influence the game on Sunday. And I can see Jason in his chair thinking, God, Juventus away, Ronaldo and all those other players. They've got Dybala. It can be a tough game tonight. But if United got a result tonight, that could easily get their confidence right up for Sunday. I don't think it's going to... I mean, they won. Man United won 3-2 at the Etihad last season. It stopped City winning the leagues. Delayed them winning the league, shall we say. Sorry. So Martial on form. But like you said, Bournemouth created a lot of chances. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. That's my shock result of the weekend.
No way. 1-1 draw.
Mourinho could be, he could have been hit by a sniper and everything else, and he'll still come out with something. He'll still pull out some move. I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't put a lot of money on this bet, but I'm going to go 1-1.
It's going to be a game of 2 halves, ladies and gentlemen. First half, City going to score a goal. It's going to be 1-0 at half time, and then United are going to come back, and it's going to be 1-1. And then City are going to score another goal, make it 2-1, and then United are going to score 2 more goals. It's going to be 3-2 to Man United, with Martial getting 2 and getting an assist for Rashford.
Wow. I mean,
that was a dream I had on Sunday night.
For those who haven't watched the podcast, but Jason's obviously a massive United fan. They did win 3-2 there last season, so it could happen. It is a derby game, but I've got Aguero in my team. He's got a good record against United, so I'm still keeping him.
So, what is your actual dead cert bet this week, Dan? Where's your £9? I mean, how much is it now? It's got to be past the £9.70 mark. Have we hit the tenner yet?
Not hit a tenner yet. Remember, I put it on Man City to beat Southampton last week, so I think it's about £9.81 or £9.85. I can't remember the exact amount, but the money's trickling up, and I got 11 results right in a row, so that's what matters. But yeah, I think
this week.
This week, I think Fulham have got a great chance away to Liverpool. So, wait a minute. No, Liverpool at home to Fulham, obviously. I was going to try and be a bit maverick and say, Man United away to City. But yeah, Liverpool are going to smash Fulham. Anyone that subscribes to the channel as a Fulham fan is probably going to unsubscribe this week, but it's nothing personal. Which
kind of concludes our preview of the game weeks, which obviously suggests that what are we going to be doing with our own teams? I mean, are there any players this week, or one player that you wish you owned that you don't have in your team? I'll kick it off. I originally went with Morata, but I think that now Hazard's playing, I think Hazard will take the spotlight against Everton. I'm going to go with Harry Kane. I wish I had Harry Kane this week. I think he's going to get another 2 goals against Crystal Palace. I don't rate Crystal Palace at all this season. And I wish I owned Harry Kane. Dan, who do you wish you owned this week that you don't?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for Anthony Martial, which might surprise a few people, but he's been banging form recently, and I know they got a game against City, but I just got a feeling he's going to get another goal. Either him or Callum Wilson, because it's my front line. I've got Aguero and Arnautovic. They're locked in, but I'm just really annoyed about Mitrovic, like the last few games. So try not to be the obvious one would be Hazard with the form, and he's got great history against Everton as well. But I'm going to say Martial. It's differential.
And Jason, is there a player that you wish you owned this week that you don't have?
Yeah, Jamie Vardy.
I was literally on the bird. Yeah,
I am. Yeah, he's gonna be in for many opportunities. I think against Burnley, and I can see Maddison getting an assist or two with old Jamie getting on the end of it. So yeah, talking about setting up teams. I've been thinking. Would you guys like to know what I've done?
Yes. You want to get it off your chest, so you might as well. I feel like you need to get it off your chest because you've been quite tense in this podcast. So just tell us.
Right.
Or not.
Right. So this was done Sunday. All right. In the early hours of Sunday morning.
Yeah, when you had your dream.
So I took out Mitrovic, and I did the obvious transfer to Arnautovic, but I couldn't afford that without taking a hit. So
this is going to be a -4 then.
This is currently a -4. Then, for some stupid reason, I thought I got a little bit more money in my bank. Why not just upgrade another player?
And who was it from what?
So David Silva, my stalwart, my literal absolute
an FPL legend,
pillar of success. You know, the most beautiful midfield player, second to only Hazard to grace the fields of FPL. Yeah, took him out to bring in your man, your pick for this week, Martial.
All right, okay.
Wow.
Nothing.
All right, so Martial in. All right, now this is when it gets a bit crazy. So then I decided, right, I got Cedric sitting looking at me, thinking, right, I've already probably got the most points I'm going to get this season with him. So I ended up taking him out and bringing in Trent Alexander.
Oh my god! Oh my days!
At the time,
he was on the bench. He wasn't doing any harm.
Which now looks like an absolute backfire because looking at it, Cedric has got more chance of playing and having a clean sheet than Trent's even starting. So yeah, I'm a little bit gutted that he got.
What I want to ask straight away is, will Trent even play in your team at all?
Say again.
Will Trent even play in your team?
Yeah, definitely. Will he play in the game? That's the question.
Were you drinking on Saturday? Because, I mean, Cedric. What I think Steve was trying to say is that obviously Cedric was on the bench. So why not? Why take that other hit to get Trent?
No, Cedric.
Trent.
No. So basically, so basically, I've got two like premium defenders in Mendy and Alonso. Then I've got 3 cheapies, which were Cedric, Wan-Bissaka, and what's his face, Bennett. Now, the slightly more expensive cheapie was Cedric, and I wanted to get into the Liverpool defence. Now, probably should have gone Gomez.
Yeah, I've been
Gomez has been solid this season.
I've been really tempted to transfer in Gomez. Unfortunately, I can't afford it. So 5.1.
Yeah, I can afford him. So I'm like, what have I just done? I've literally done this transfer and completely. I mean, it could work. I mean, it could pay off, but I can't. I don't think Alexander Arnold's going to play now as a result of the game yesterday. And now I'm sitting here with -8 going into next weekend with Martial yet to play. God. I mean, remind me, guys, if I did do a 3 hit, which I'm not going to do, but if I did, like if there was catastrophic like problems, does it reset all your transfers?
It does. Yes. No, it doesn't, because you've already confirmed your team. This is your team as it is now. So if you were to do a 3 hit, it would just revert back.
so basically, it got a lump, So basically, guys, I'm -8 points, and I'm probably going to be very nervous come Saturday.
I think this was the worst time, not the worst time, but I think it was a bad week to bring in Martial. I don't see the point in bringing him in yet. I think I would have just waited one more week, because then, I mean, David Silva, whatever, he's going to be playing against against United. I think he's got more chance of doing something against United than Martial has against City. I would have waited. I would have held on that. But you said that you did this to fund Arnautovic. Is that right?
So the original transfer was always to bring Arnautovic in for Mitrovic, and it was really annoying, because I was like 0.2 off doing the transfer. So then I thought, well, where can I change? Well, Martial's been someone that I've been wanting to get a Man United player in for a long time. Not because of the form. As a supporter, I wanted to just have a bit of more reason to actually to watch the game. Because at the moment it's been so, like it has been this season, it has been quite painful at times. So yeah, now we've seen a rise in Martial's form. I thought bring him in for the City game, because I think that game's going to be more open than what you think. I think United are going to try and catch City on the counter-attack, and Martial is that player to go breaking through, hopefully getting on the end of a Mata pass, or who knows. So yeah, it could, like I said to you, like when I spoke to you guys on Tuesday. When I spoke to you guys on Sunday, actually, on the Reaction podcast, I said this is going to make or break my rank. This could either be an absolute brilliant change of team strategy, or it could just end up being an epic failure. And right now, I think it's 50-50.
I think in the long, I mean, just a quick question. Could you have taken out Richarlison for Martial? Was that possible or not? Was that not possible?
To go to Richard, no, because Martial's 7.4, isn't he? And Richarlison is 6.8. So no, I couldn't have done that. So I kind of want to keep hold of Richarlison. I think David Silva is it was one of those players where I do think is a little bit pricey, but now Kevin De Bruyne is injured, he's potentially more nailed. So it was kind of a bit counter. I just think wait until Saturday. And then if guys, ladies and gentlemen, watching the stream, I thank you ever so much for tuning into the stream. But if you don't see me this weekend on the Reactionary podcast, it's probably because I'm forgetting about fantasy football.
To be fair, I honestly think that the move is fine. I just think this was the worst week to do it. I certainly think doing Trent for Cedric, I honestly don't see the point in that one. I think you've taken a hit at the wrong time. When I wanted to take my 8-point hit to bring in Salah versus Cardiff, it completely backfired. But there was all logic to it. I think what you've done, I think it's like that classic thing of, and I'm surprised at this because you haven't done it all season, barring bringing in Walcott when Richarlison got injured. But that's whenever. But I think this almost seems like a bandwagon kind of move that you've been caught into, and I just don't know why, considering how well you've done this year and how seriously you take this game, certainly this season, how well you're doing this season, and it shows in your ranking. I just don't know why you've done a -8 for this game week. I think it's a bit of a strange one.
So let's see the players I've taken out. So Cedric, what's his potential of getting a clean sheet against Watford? It's relatively good.
I think it's 50. I think it's about 40%. I think Southampton will shut up shop. That could end 0-0. Even though I've gone 2-0 Watford.
All right, let's bring it into comparison with Trent. What's his percentage of getting benched? I think would you say it's 50-50?
Yeah, I think Trent being benched is 50-50. I think Martial getting returns like Silva, I think they're about equal. Arnautovic, though, getting returns against Huddersfield, I think that's the key one. I think the Arnautovic, to do what you've done, makes complete sense to fund everything. But I just honestly think it's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, I didn't need to do the Cedric move, and I could have got away with a -4.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing that can happen is Martial gets 2 goals, David Silva doesn't get anything, and Arnautovic does well as well. And that way, if Trent gets benched, then it's kind of been a let off.
Well, if anybody's watching this, we're going to be wrapping up soon. But if anybody's got any thoughts on Jason's 8-point hit, he's sat at 556th in the world. If you've got any thoughts on Jason taking the 8-point hit, just let us know in the chat. Dan, you're a man of hits. What are you going to be doing with your team this week?
A man of hits. So obviously Mitrovic failed the test against Huddersfield. So I've got to think of an option to replace him, really, particularly the fact that they've got the Liverpool game. I don't know if it's my defence as well. I'm, as you can see from the way I'm talking, I'm just, I brought Mendy and Laporte in. I've got Doherty there as well. It's bloody hard. But it's basically a question of whether to strengthen my defence, make a transfer my defence, maybe get Joe Gomez in. So I think I've got the funds to allow that. Or getting another budget striker to replace Mitrovic with. So yeah, it's a bit of a toughie. I don't want to take a hit. Well, I say this everywhere. I say this every week. Don't want to take a hit, and then in the reaction podcast, it's like, oh well, Dan, you took a 4-point hit, but so knowing me, I'll probably replace Mitrovic with another budget option, and I've got 2 candidates for that role at the moment. That have been performing well, and they're under 7 million as well. So,
okay, I'm personally
giving much away.
I'm planning on saving my transfers, and then I'm going to have 2 transfers for the international break, and that's when I'm probably potentially going to be. So my plan, looking ahead, is to get rid of either Maddison or Richarlison. I want to bring in Martial. I think Jason has got ahead of the pack there, along with the thousands of others. But I think Martial is almost not quite essential, but he's certainly, for a midfielder, he's up there with someone that you almost certainly want in your team. Maddison this week needs to prove himself. He gets nothing against Burnley, and what I mean by that is any attack and returns, assist or a goal, then I think he'll be the one that I'd be probably looking at to move on, because to have a player blank 4 games in a row is just not acceptable for myself. I've got a bit of a benching headache. It's a question of, do I play Brooks, who could potentially be in a new striking role, up against Newcastle, who, as we've already talked about, are shambolic at home. I'd like to think Brooks would get some attack and returns, but it's a case of, do I play Richarlison ahead of Brooks? But Richarlison away at Chelsea, just can't see him doing anything. So yeah, I'm saving my 2 free transfers. I'm pretty set with my team. I'm going captain Salah. I'm very tempted by Hazard, but I'm just going to follow the crowd and stick with the safety option in Salah.
Yes, okay. So that wraps up our Elite FPL podcast, looking ahead to game week 12. Thanks to everybody that joined in with the live chat. Also, if you're watching this on the replay...
We've got a few comments, by the way. I was wanted to read out before we wrapped up.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, Dan. You kind of went into the whole spiel, but no, it's Vince Chapman. First of all, he says, Dan, are you in your grandmother's living room? We all know that isn't the case.
No.
He's also said, Steve-O, are you thinking of growing a beard?
I hate beard, but I just can't be bothered to shave, and yet I get told all the time that a beard suits me. I can't stand them. So the simple answer is, am I planning on growing one? No. It's just the fact that I just can't be bothered to shave. I just shave my neck. That's about it.
It's that time of the year, isn't it? That time of the year.
Yeah, and apparently I'm a traitor to Robertson. I do apologise bringing in Trent. And people have said that they can understand Martial. They think Martial's going to do well in the next 6 games. But yeah, going back to not trying to echo everything I've said already. It's going to be very interesting. Man United versus Man City. Come Sunday, we will know. We will know if Martial's a real deal.
Yeah, you sort of ahead of the pack, as Steve-O said, really. So obviously if he does, let's say he gets a goal tonight, you never know. Obviously, and then confidence goes on for the game at the Etihad on Sunday. Could be a very smart move, really. But yes, second time around. So that wraps up our Elite FPL podcast. Thanks to everyone that joined in with the live chat. Remember that you can follow us on Instagram. So just search for Elite FPL and connect with us on there. And obviously, if you're watching the replay, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know what you thought of the podcast, any improvements we can make. And yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone again. And thanks for watching. And cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Just a quick one before we do wrap up for the 50th time. Anybody that does follow us on Instagram, you will get live videos of us telling our thoughts and opinions on what's happened on whatever game has just taken place, or you'll get automatic notifications regarding the fact that we will be going live on YouTube as we're doing so now. So it is worthwhile. We are very active on Instagram, so it's definitely worthwhile following us at Elite FPL on Instagram for live updates, basically.
Yeah, we've had. Sorry, Andy was asking. Andy Salter in chat was asking, when do we announce when we're going live? I think we're going to start Twitter. I'll be posting on Twitter. It's definitely on Instagram. We'll be posting videos and obviously letting people know when we're going to go live. And also, I'll be doing schedules as well. Scheduled streams where we know the time so that you guys can see when the schedules are.
Cool.
Yes, that's it. So for the third time around, I'm just going to wrap up. Obviously, look for us on Instagram. We do, during the week, we sometimes do videos reacting to games and our team selections. And so obviously, if you're looking at your team and commiserating or celebrating, you can look at us and think, well, what we've done. And yeah, just connect with us on there. And thanks once again to everyone that watched, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Enjoy the game week 12. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye.